And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood, folks. And you know, there's several things in Bradley County that are the best kept secret of that I try to enlighten you about because I don't like best kept secrets. I want these people to know. The Small Business Development Center at Cleveland State is one of them. This is another one, and I just happened one day to see in the banner at the end of the obituaries just a little tiny article that was talking about the Veteran Honor Guard. So luckily, Mr. Thomason contacted me, and so I asked them to be on TV. So today, I have John Thomason and Bill Gray to talk with us about the Veterans Honor Guard, and this is very special to me because I come from a military family, and I just think this is a wonderful thing that you all do. So share with our folks what it is that the Veterans Honor Guard actually does.
Well, Bill Gray's been a member for a few more years than I have. I joined back in the spring of 15, but the Veterans Honor Guard is a ceremonial honor for veterans who have passed. We can perform it at the cemetery, which is our normal venue. We can perform it at the funeral home, or we can even perform it at a church or another site as they wish. It has to be prepared through the funeral homes. We work for them. They contact us and verify that the families have the proper paperwork for us to be informed that they are a veteran desirous and capable of having our services.
Okay, now the family has to have the proper paperwork. So this will entail, what does this entail?
The DD-214 form, which is their serviceman's discharge.
Okay.
Before 1950, okay, there's a different form, and it has a bunch of letters to it. One of them is Navy, one of them is Army, but it's their official discharge from the military. If they do not have that, it's been lost through the years, there are ways to get a copy of it, and we can assist them in doing that. So can the Veterans Service Organization here in town can help them get that paperwork if they don't have it. But in order to be buried with a 21-gun salute and the presentation of the flag, you have to have honorable service in the United States military.
Okay, and you have to
And
have
the
that
only way to
discharge
verify that is with the DD-214 or other earlier, before 1950 documentation.
Okay, so let's say that someone passed away today.
Yes.
And the funeral's going to be in 3 days, and they can't find those papers. Is there a way to expedite that?
It can be possibly expedited online. Ms. Sherry Nations with the Veterans Office here has been very capable in being able to take the necessary information that you bring. It's the information that only the family has, work out a request for a 214, expedite it as best they can. But the challenge is the personnel records section and finding it.
Yes.
When you consider the veterans of the state of Tennessee, or the veterans that if they are national records are in St. Louis or Washington or at their branch headquarters, they have to get in line to be able to find it. So the challenge comes about is being able to know that you've taken the time to request the proper forms, you've taken the time to get sufficient copies. Shouldn't just one copy be kept? Maybe in a file, maybe in a safe deposit box, maybe with a trusted family member, a daughter, a son. Please keep this for me. And hopefully some burial preparations. Site, burial space. I wish to be buried in my navy blue suit with a red and white tie. Mm-hmm. These sorts of things, not necessarily, challenging to discuss, but sometimes it takes a point. A good family member passes and you knew he was a veteran, but he doesn't have what you consider to be a proper ceremony. What happened? Why didn't he have it? Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know anything about it. These sorts of things come around, Nancy.
And that's the reason I hate for y'all to be the best kept secret in Bradley County. That's one reason I wanted you all on here. I know I know exactly where my husband's honorable discharge papers are, but some people may not. So that's the reason I asked if there was how much time you needed. So it's kind of like writing a will. Nobody wants to write their will because that's kind of, you're admitting that, you may not have much longer, although I've got a will and I've had it for 30 years. So, and hopefully I've got 30 more good years. But this is one of those things that sometimes people don't want to talk about funerals and talk about the situation. So I think if there's a military member of the family, they need, just like today, if they're watching the show, they need to know to start searching for some of these things that they might need if they want a military funeral.
And it is a federal mandate. laws were passed that each veteran who honorably served is required to have it. If the family so chooses not to have it, then that's a decision that's made. But the federal mandate is, and it's available on the DOD website, it shows it's a federal mandate under federal law that every veteran who is honorably served can have a full ceremony, whatever the family wishes. If they just wish for taps, that's fine. If they just wish for a folded flag and taps, that's fine too. If they wish for a full firing ceremony, taps, and a folded flag, we'll perform to their needs. If it is an officer, they can have a full ceremony from their branch of service, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Those are very solemn and respectful services. If you've ever seen one or been a part of one, it's extremely moving. We've had a number of parties, Bill's been with me on a number of them, where we've had family members, daughters, granddaughters, grandsons, even in uniform, come up and express their wishes as to how much they appreciate the ceremonies that we perform.
I know my dad passed away when I was 6, and he had been in the Army during World War II, and we had the complete, the firing squad and the whole 9 yards, and got an American flag, and it had 48 stars. So for several years we were okay with the 48-star flag, but then it went on to 50. So because I know my mother wanted to donate it to the elementary school where my brother and I were going to school, and so that didn't work for very long. But you're right. It's a very special event, and it's something that I think everybody there truly appreciates.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
One thing else that's very important to mention, too, there's no charge for our service.
That's very important to
The
mention.
Bradley County Veterans Honor Guard does this free of charge to the family. They're burying a loved one. They've got enough on their mind. They don't need to worry about another bill. We don't charge.
That's fantastic.
Now, we'll take all we can get
I
because we
understand.
have to buy the bullets and buy our own gas and our uniforms and things like that. We have to take care of ourselves, but we do not charge the family for the service. It is an honor for every one of us on that guard to be able to serve another veteran and give him his final goodbye. You know, when a congressman or a senator or some of the other crooks in Washington do the things that they do, if one of them passes, they lay in state, and there is
I
a
know.
big. But when an American hero passes, nobody ever knows about it except the family.
That's true. That's
So
very true.
we are there to pay the due respect and honor that veteran deserves for his time in the military.
And all of you all are located in Cleveland, Bradley County.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am, we have one gentleman who serves out of Hamilton, but he's
Okay.
gladly serves.
Okay, so now my next question to y'all is, you don't just do services in Cleveland, Bradley County, is that correct?
No, ma'am. We do 'em
Okay.
We've been
anywhere
far
within your
afield.
listening audience.
Okay,
Yes,
very
ma'am.
good, very good. So Hamilton County, Polk County, Meigs County, Bradley County, and I think I asked you before the show about McMinn County.
Yes, ma'am, we've
So
been
you
up
do
there.
that too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so this is just, how many of you all are there
I think 16.
in
I
your
think
group?
we're at 16. We just
Okay.
added one last week, very
Okay, good.
thankfully so. One of our parties said, I have a good friend, which is generally one of the manners in which we add parties. We had 8 retire in the last 15, 16 months
Oh
due
my
to
gosh.
age,
Okay.
family needs, these sorts of things. We had around 20. So now we've added 3 back in there that gets us back up to 15, 16. We're still looking for additional personnel. Would love to talk with them. It's a dedication. When you join us, it's a dedication, it's a commitment, it's a responsibility, it's a time effort. If we go to Chattanooga and perform for a 2-minute ceremony, we're generally gone for 3 hours from the
Right.
time that we get there to the time that we leave.
Absolutely.
So you have to be able to set aside that time. We would love for parties to contact us, veterans that are able and willing. We do have to climb hillsides. We've stood in 90-degree heat. We've stood in 30-degree cold and 45-degree rain. So we try to ask for parties that would be willing to assist us. And it's not a full-time thing.
No.
The more parties we have, the more parties we're able to spread the effort
Right.
out over.
Right, absolutely. And that, to me, I tried to recruit you one the other day, I told you. Joe Davis retired from the Veterans Administration here, and I asked him if he was tired of retirement yet, and he said not quite. But I said, well, when you do get tired of it, you need to call the Honor Guard and volunteer with them. And
Yes, ma'am.
So he put that on his list. Now, that doesn't mean but he put it on
We
his
might
list.
add one.
So there you go. It's on his list. So, all right, now let me ask you, how do people contact you
through the funeral.
Okay, now explain how that works.
All you have to do is when you're making the funeral arrangements, all you have to do is instruct the funeral director that you would like military honors. They carry the ball from there.
Okay.
They contact us, get the DD-214. They contact us and make the arrangements on time, and then we show up and we're there.
And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the family doesn't have to worry about anything.
The
You all
family's
handle it.
got enough to worry about. They don't need to be
Absolutely.
worried about anything else.
Absolutely.
So, and the other thing we say is military honors in a gravesite ceremony always comes first.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason behind that. You see, the family is there mourning and grieving
Mm-hmm.
their lost loved one, and they need time for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need the honor guard there. So we come, we perform our service, we present them with the flag, and then we leave and we get out of their way. They don't have to stand across, and look
gotcha.
across the grave and see a bunch of guys in uniform over there who have just paid military honors to their fallen loved one. They don't need that. We go, we get out of the way and leave the rest of the service to the family.
And I think that's very respectful of you.
That's the main thing. It is a respect thing. When a man commits to his life 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 20 years in the military, they've earned that respect. And the very least we can do as survivors is to pay that respect at the time of their loss.
Absolutely. And before we came on, I was asking you all about about cremations, and you all do that also. It doesn't have to be a plot burial. It can be
Yes,
cremation
ma'am.
services.
We have done many, many, many of them that way. They still get presented. The family member will still get the flag. We still do the 21-gun salute. We still play taps. Even though the body has been cremated, that doesn't make any difference. We're there anyway.
It's still in respect of the veteran.
Yes. And okay, now speaking of playing taps, I read somewhere a couple of years ago that your buglers, we were kind of dwindling down in people that were able to bugle taps. Do you all have a bugler?
Yes,
Bugler.
Yes,
That's
we
hard
do,
to
but
say.
we do not play taps anymore.
Oh, okay.
Ever since Kennedy's funeral, when the note was missed in the taps, if you can if you're as old as I am, you can remember
I
back
remember
that
that.
far.
Yes.
The bugler missed a note.
Yes.
From that time forward, music is played electronically. There's a little gizmo that goes inside the trumpet, and you turn it on, and it plays taps for you. You don't have to actually do it. Now, on very rare and very exceptional cases, you do have a live bugler there, and he will do the ceremony live. But
That's amazing.
99% of all funerals nowadays are done with an electronic bugle, and that is to make sure that there's no missed notes anymore.
Now that's amazing because this article I read did not attribute it to that. They just said that there were less people that could play the bugle. And so
Well, that might be a little bit true, too. They say taps is
so.
one of the most difficult songs there is to play because of the pitch changes.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing to do. But the biggest reason for it was during Kennedy's funeral, the bugler
Yes.
made a mistake, missed a note, and it's the note that was missed and heard around the world. So they don't do that anymore. Now
Yes.
we make sure it's all done electronically. There's no mistakes. There is nothing you want to do during a ceremony such as this
yes.
to take away from the solemn respect that we're paying to that soldier.
absolutely.
They ask us all the time. We get asked, John and I get asked all the time, why do you guys do this? Why are you so always doing all of this? It's a thing of respect. I know when I pass, I want it at my funeral.
And will you have your discharge papers ready?
Oh, I've already got my funeral paid for.
Oh, have you?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Good for you. Good
I
for
had
you.
open heart surgery about 2.5 years ago, and the heart doctor said, you better get your stuff in order. So I have. And
Well, bless your heart.
yeah, well, if the good Lord calls me home tomorrow, I don't much care. I know where I'm going.
Well-
I've made my arrangements.
Well, good for you.
Okay.
I'm proud of you. And everybody else needs to do that. And like I say, it's tough. I know my husband and I had one son, and I say to him, when I go out of town, travel anywhere, I say, now, honey, everything you need to know is in the left-hand drawer, top drawer of my desk. He doesn't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to talk about it. So, this is not,
Well, unless the good Lord comes tomorrow, we're all going to die sooner or later.
that's exactly
it's,
right.
It's going to happen to all of us.
and
the easier we can make it on our loved ones,
that's exactly
The
right.
better it
that's
is.
what we need to be thinking
Absolutely,
about.
absolutely. When you say 21 gun salute, I remember when my dad passed away, and I was only 6, but I remember this. There's not 21 rifles there.
No, there's 7.
There's 7 rifles that fire 3 times
3
each, and
rounds,
so
yes.
that's to me that's amazing. And when you're out in a field or in the cemetery, all that echo, bam, 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 it's really, it's pretty moving.
We also provide 3 cleaned cartridges and a small note from the Honor Guard to keep them informed. It's one of the goals to be able to have rounds that were fired at your ceremony, but we clean them up and go right ahead and put them in a small baggie and provide that as part of the ceremony. That not only helps them have the rounds, which is a part of the final ceremony, but helps keep them informed as to who performed the ceremony.
Right.
When we roll up, even though our van has got our name on it in 6-inch letters, they may not see the van. It may be parked on the other side of the
True.
building, up the hill. So they need to at least wise be informed. It's not the funeral home's responsibility in that particular case, so
Right.
we add that to it so that they can be informed as to who performed the final ceremony for their family member.
I don't remember getting those, but now it's been many years ago since Dad passed away. But I do remember the flag with 48 stars, and so I do remember the 7 gentlemen with the rifles. So to me, this is something that is very, very special, and I don't want you all to be the best kept secret in Bradley County. So I want everybody to know to ask if they're making funeral arrangements, to be sure and ask at the funeral home.
Please be sure and ask. We've asked the funeral homes to be more clear and more correct in their request. Yes, you've got a number of things you've got to be concerned with: time, date, people, caskets, whatever else. But this is a point that we feel is as important, if not more important, for the honoring and the respecting of the veteran that's passed, and make sure that the proper form is there. Miss Nations has gone one step above. We feel if you ask her to order a copy, she'll get you your copy and keep her copy in her own file.
How
It can be
neat.
mislaid, it can be lost, it can be burned, you can move or anything else. And if the funeral homes in this area have a question, they say we don't have it, they'll call her and say, do you have a copy? I'll fax it right over. It makes that one point so much smoother, and I commend her for her actions and her responsibility.
Absolutely. So, to our veterans out there today, male and female, if you can't find your paperwork, you need to go ahead and get it now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
that's very easy to do at our Veterans Administration office,
Veterans Affairs Office,
which
yes, ma'am.
is in the courthouse right now.
It's in the adjacent building beside Broad Street
Broad Street.
Methodist.
It's
Yes, ma'am.
where Broad Street owns that building, and they put them in there. So this is something they need to do. And I mean, even if you're a 45-year-old veteran, you still need to do this. If
Yes,
you
ma'am.
don't have your paperwork,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
need to be sure that other people know where that paperwork is.
Miss Nation's phone number is 728-4100. Our phone number, if you wish to contact us about becoming a member of the Honor Guard, we would love to talk with you, sit down with you, check out uniform sizes, these sorts of things. Mr. Smith's phone number is 423-284-5224, and my phone number is 423-716-4890. We would love to get back up to around 20, maybe even more if we can. It would ease some of the burdens on some of our parties who are challenged sometimes in being there day after day after day. Back in the week 2 weeks ago, we had 5 from Tuesday through Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
And when you dedicate the time and effort that's required to perform the service properly, you've taken out a better part of a half a day just for a 2-minute ceremony.
That's
but it's
exactly
the point
right.
that we do of commitment and dedication. Bill has been a very stalwart person. I've tried to do the best I can with the other requirements that I have. It's a challenge to say, I'm sorry, I can't go today. I've got a funeral.
If you think about it this way. There's about 15 or 16 of us now on the Honor Guard. We did 100 funerals last year,
Wow.
and there's nobody on the Honor Guard under 65 years old.
Wow.
We're all old. Most of us are crippled up, disabled veterans. So I am 170% physically disabled. Severe heart condition, blood pressure, diabetes, you name it, I got it. All of us are in that same boat. We're a bunch of old guys. we need younger help, younger veterans that are coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq and those types of places to get involved, to kind of give us old guys a break. Because when you're doing 4 and 5 of them a week, it gets old quick.
I bet
gets,
it does.
it gets hard on our ancient bodies.
And the thing about it is, 99.9% of the time, nobody plans that they're going to die right then.
That's exactly
and
right. Jan.
so you might actually have 2 funerals in one day.
Oh, we've had
done
we've
three.
had 3.
We've done 3 in one day, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need volunteers to come help you out.
Yeah, if there's we prefer it be a veteran that comes and help us.
Oh,
We really
yes.
do, because they have the already automatic understanding.
Right.
But they don't have to be a veteran. If they just want to pay homage and honor the military in this country, they can join us.
Well, that's awesome. I had no idea.
We can let them in and help us out. They don't have to be a veteran. We prefer a veteran,
I
and you can
understand that.
fully understand why.
I do. Mhm.
But it's not a necessity. I mean, we'll take all the help we can get. Just like I said, our service is free. We don't charge. Now, we'll take all the money you want to throw at us.
Right.
We'll be glad to
Right.
get it because
Right.
we've got bills to pay.
Right.
We buy uniforms. We have to buy our own bullets, and you'd have no idea how much those cost.
I
We
do.
have to buy our own fuel, our own van,
Uh-huh,
our own insurance, and all of that stuff.
Because
So
you're volunteers.
we are all volunteers. Nobody makes a nickel on this stuff.
But we appreciate
But
you
it
all
requires
so
a little
much.
bit of money in order to be able to do it.
Right.
But as long as the good Lord provides, we're here and we're free.
And I think that's awesome. And I'm so glad you all came on with me today because I wanted people to know. It's like I told you when we talked about the little article that's at the bottom of the obituaries every week so that you can remember to ask these questions when you go to the funeral home. And don't wait till the funeral home to do this stuff. Be sure you've got the paperwork you need prior to that.
Yeah.
We had a good gentleman who was a part of the A Troop here in Cleveland when he retired back in '84, and he passed away just last week. The first question that was asked, would you have a 214? The dear daughter went ballistic. But by going to the veteran's office and by having it, she was fortunate. They had a copy in the file. He has a full military and full benefits, burial at National Cemetery, a free
Wow.
headstone, a free flag, and our honor guard. So these are the benefits that our good veterans and their
Yes.
families have earned through their service to our country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you all so much for
You're
being
welcome.
on.
Thank
I
you
really
for having
appreciate
us.
it. And hopefully this will get out and people will know and understand about you all.
One other thing we might
Okay,
add,
okay.
we've taken the joy of doing a little fundraising with a food trailer. If you happen to have an item coming up in the future, an event where you'd like to have some hot dogs and funnel cakes and popcorn and these sorts of things, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to be involved. It gets us out in the community, gets us talking and conversing with all parties, from children all the way up through veterans. We'd love to be a part of it. You can call the same numbers, and we'll be glad to schedule that.
I got you. And what I'll start doing, I do announcements at the end of each show. I will put you all,
Thank
the
you.
food trailer, on the announcements, and so that people will know they can give you a call.
Be very honored to be a part of it.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much for being on Nancy's Neighborhood
Thank
with
you.
me today.
Thank
I
you,
really
ma'am.
appreciate it. It was nice meeting both of you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Folks, don't go away. It's like I always say, watch our commercials. They pay our bills, so we need for you to support them. And I'll be right back with a few announcements if Bryce tells me I've got time. So don't go away.